feet from a church or school. So it should be noted that that law actually does not apply to a retail beer permit, which is an off-premises permit. The Chief Baldwin and Mayor Long are aware of that. They still decided that they wanted to oppose the issuance of the permit. There were no other defects with the application and no issues with the applicant, Samir Surani, or the manager, Miss Brenda Manis. Mayor Chuck Long, as you mentioned before, is in attendance today, and Miss Brenda Manis for Marmaduke Gas and Deli. And at this time, I'll move to introduce the government or the agency's exhibits, and that consists of the application, objections, the ABC correspondence, which is just mailings back and forth, like essentially notice, and the applicable provision of the Code of Arkansas regulations. And Lila will pass those out to everyone.
And at this time, are you asking for us to admit this in the record? Okay, granted. Are you ready for us to move forward? Sorry.
No, that's okay. Yes, I think at this point, Ms. Manis can put on her testimony and evidence.
You can proceed.
And then if you'll click your mic and if you could explain to the board what your understanding of the situation is. We know you don't have counsel here today, but if you could explain why you think that you should be granted the permit, and then the mayor will have an opportunity to speak and explain why he is opposing your permit. Does that make sense?
My name? Okay. And the reason it's a good place. It's a good location. And I know there's a lot of traffic going through there, but it's not any worse than any other.
So tell us, so when we come to these hearings, it's kind of the first time we're learning about the situation. So all the information is kind of new to us. So can you tell us a little bit about, like, do you own other stores? Is this your first one? Tell us about this specific location. Give us a little bit of a background. Yeah. When you see the green, you're good.
Okay. I worked at one other store that I had wine and beer license.
Is it current right now, or is that a previous?
It was previous.
Okay.
I mean, it's been many years ago, but there wasn't nothing against them. I mean.
Okay. So you have a background in doing, operating a store like this before, but.
Yes, sir.
Did you, in similar area, did you move to a different part of the state, or?
No, it was in a similar area. It was still in Greene County.
Okay. And so do you have any other stores currently, or any other businesses you're running?
Just this one.
Okay. Yeah.
Ms. Manis, could you estimate how many people might visit the location in a day? I mean, are you expecting this to be as busy as a Walmart, or is it kind of more like a mom and pop? Can you tell us a little more?
But like a mom and pop, I guess. Yeah.
Could you explain more about what you sell?
We sell, sodas, cigarettes, food, chips, candy.
Have you already obtained a tobacco permit from
Yes.
Arkansas Tobacco Control? And there were no issues with your application there,
No.
is that right? Okay. Are there any other questions from the board about the nature of Ms. Manis's business?
It sounds like there is a school or a church that might be nearby, but it might not be applicable. Are there any other businesses nearby?
There, across the tracks, there is a factory. But other than that, now on down the road, there is another convenience store.
Okay.
I would say maybe 2 blocks.
And have you knowing that there was opposition from some of the local officials, have you had any conversations with mayor, police, or anyone
No.
else? Okay. Have you had any conversations with anyone in the area in general? You know, local residents or
No.
anyone speak to you one way or the other? Okay. I don't have any further questions. Does anyone else on the board have a question they'd like to ask at this time?
Ms. Manis, is there anything else you would like us to know about the location, the application, anything like that? Okay, you can have.
And just from a protocol, we don't get a lot of these where it's, you know, the two sides like this. Once the mayor and the comes up and speaks, she'll have a chance to come kind of rebut anything that gets brought forward. Is that correct?
That's correct. But also Ms. Manis, I believe, has some exhibits that she wanted to admit to the board.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all right here. I think there was a couple pictures wrong.
Could you
I was in a rush
explain,
to get over here.
could you explain what you'd like presented to the board and why you brought it here today?
Now, I just got them run up, but I couldn't tell you what all of them are, but I know some of them, I mean, there's pictures in there. And a couple other things, because I didn't read it all, because I was really hurry. It got emailed to me.
Okay.
Mm.
Ms. Keisha, do you want to review that before sharing with us?
Yes, if you could give me just a moment, please.
Yeah, perfect.
Sorry about that. I throwed it all together and hurry up and got over it.
That's okay. Just to explain, she's reviewing it to make sure she doesn't have any objections. And if she has no objections, it will be submitted as an exhibit to the board on your behalf.
Do we have an aerial, a map of this location too, just to kind of get a better idea of what's around it? If not, I'm just going to look it up on my phone. So,
We've gotten in trouble for doing that in the past.
okay, can we get someone to pull up an aerial?
We do have some photos of the location.
Okay, I saw those.
You did? Oh.
Aerial always is helpful in this, just so everybody's aware. An aerial gives you a really good idea of what's around that location.
We don't have aerial, but there are two photos that Ms. Manis brought that are not in your exhibit packet.
Okay, all right.
Just in the future, not trying to get off subject to this one, but like with us using Teams now and Brandy having like her computer, is it possible that we could do like a screen share where like she could pull up like a Google Earth, or does that create some type of ex parte?
If that's something you guys want to see, our attorneys have now heard it. And so if we have a hearing like this where there is question of traffic congestion or opposition to a permit and what's surrounding it, we will provide an aerial map. They can choose to add that as an exhibit outside of what's submitted to us in the application. That's not something that's generally submitted to us, but it is something that I would typically Google myself when looking at an objection letter.
Yeah. Sometimes it'd just be nice if it was like we could do like a live Google map tour, because you know, maybe the image is too far out or too far in, and it's hard to like get the feel for everything around there.
You do bring up an interesting legal question. I'm not sure how you could admit as an exhibit an interactive map. So we'll probably start with screenshots, but we can certainly look into if that's been done at administrative hearings or in the courtroom of where they kind of like walk the path on Google Earth, because I do think that would be helpful in some respects too.
Yeah. I mean, you got the street view component as well. I'm sure we're not the first group that has raised this question.
Okay, I do have the exhibit together. I'm going to label it Exhibit 4, but we need to make copies of that so you all have one.
Okay.
But this is a complete Exhibit 4 for Ms. Manis.
Okay. In the meantime, I have no issue with us passing around for everyone to have a chance to look at it. Sorry, Susan and Stacy, but we can email you a copy afterwards, I'm sure. While they're reviewing that, do we want to move forward with having the mayor come forward at this time?
Let's let Keisha finish reviewing the evidence and close up this witness since these are her exhibits.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were
fine.
good at this point.
There's a few more items we're kind of sifting through to make sure we know exactly what exhibits Ms. Manis wants presented.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so what they have is a set of what you have over there.
That's correct.
Okay, perfect.
It's all supposed to be put together.
If you guys want to take a recess, we could try to have our council scan in Miss Manis's exhibit so that we can email those to you guys, if that's okay.
I'll leave that up to Susan and Stacy if you ought to like that or not. Can we get a thumbs up if you'd like a copy or a thumbs down if you're good? All right, we got one copy request. Stacy's still on the fence.
Well, it kicked me out for some reason. Hold on.
Miss Stacy, would you like a copy of these exhibits that were brought to us today by Miss Manis? But let's just go ahead and send a copy to both of them. If we're going to send it to Stacy, might as well. Oh, Susan, we might as well send it to Stacy.
So can we take a recess?
Yeah, we'll take a brief recess while we send a copy of these over to you all. 5-minute recess.
Thank you, Alex. Miss Stacy, we are on recess, but when you join in twice, we get feedback. So we have two Stacys, one with your face and one without, and we're getting feedback from the one without. Okay. Okay, legal team. Are y'all gonna scan? Okay. With your phone? Okay. Should be a copier. Do you know, is it easier? You want to follow admin? Get you to the big copier so we can scan it in and email it to ourselves?
And Chrissy, if the meantime, if you want to go ahead,
Sure.
Mr. Mayor, if you'd like to come forward, we've got another nice seat over here. We just looked it over.
Thank you. Thank you, Alan. And Miss Manis, it's okay. Just in the future, we do have a rule that if the defense is going to bring documents, we need 12 copies for each board
I was
member.
told to.
And again, board members, this is why we ask as much as possible, please, please, please come in person on hearing days as much as possible. It just keeps everything smoother. I understand we don't all live 20 minutes away, so I totally get it. But if possible, we appreciate it.
I'm sorry that I was just told it was 6.
I know, yeah. Yeah. Quite a lot of stuff to get better. No offense, but I want to stay far away from all of it. Mayor, what's your name?
Chuck Long.
Chuck Long?
Long, yes, O-N-G.
For, Mr. Long.
I think about Chuck. Yeah, just water. This long is fine.
Brandy, can you hear me?
We could hear you, but there was an echo. Why are you signed in twice?
It kicked me out.
Okay. We
And I
didn't see you
tried.
get kicked out. You can't what? I'm sorry. Stacy, can you log off of the one that doesn't have your face on it?
That's what I tried to do. I'm gonna try again. Good Lord.
Oh, well, see, now it got rid of her good one.
The video line.
Oh,
Yeah, she's still here. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
okay, that's bizarre.
It is bizarre, and I apologize, and it could be
No,
opposite
you're
of the camera.
fine. Your face
I'm
disappeared,
so
but your voice got better. It
I'm
was very
so
weird.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. That was just very odd. I'm sorry
It
that
was
we cannot.
very odd.
Okay, I think everyone's, Susan and Stacy, did y'all get an email copy of these files in your inbox yet?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this time I think we're ready to reopen up.
I believe so.
Okay, calls back to order. I think everyone's gotten a copy of the supplemental information from Miss Manis. Does anyone have any questions on that? I've got one question myself. Miss Manis, you said that you've not had any conversation locally in the city, like anyone that was opposed to it, and in your letter it says following a recent meeting with the mayor of
I
Marmaduke.
have not myself.
Okay, there you go.
I haven't myself, but the boss has. I've got a letter in my car that
Yeah.
I was told I wouldn't need it. But
No, that's fine. I was just trying to clarify where the break was on that. You said the boss.
yes,
For the record, who is the boss?
Samir, I in the guy, his name.
As Keisha mentioned in that statement, there is an owner of the establishment who has assigned a manager because he does
Yeah.
not meet the residency requirement,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
is standard practice in ABC.
Okay. I just wanted to clear that up. Thanks. So for no one, does anyone else have any other questions for her viewing this information? At this time, we'll turn it over to Mr. Long, aka Chuck. If you would like to kind of tell us about what your thoughts are on, why you're opposed to this and any concern, things you've come across living in that area, obviously a subject matter expert. I just click it once and then when it lights up green, yep, now you're hot.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me today. And, you know, we were scheduled for last month. I appreciate the continuance. Had a birth of grandchild, so I was kind of tied up with that, but, and I appreciate that. As mayor, this was brought up. I got a letter on it. It's been a few months back, and we wrote up an opposition letter, sent it in, and it was in regards to where the church is located. So that was our initial opposition part of it, and honestly, I personally, I'm just not in support of this. I actually had a meeting with Kareem Monday. He came by the office, met with him for about an hour, had a really good meeting with him. And I expressed my exact feelings on this with him. And we had a good meeting. So, you know, and I expressed to him, we are in full support of his business, just not this portion of the business. So, met with him. I have met with, I actually have some documents here. I've got my views on why I'm in opposition. If you'd like me to go through those. I've also got some letters from several residents in regards to this, including local pastor, several of our school administrators. And I also did bring maps. Y'all were mentioning maps. I got maps of Marmaduke of where the store is, just in relation. The store is located on 49 on the very south end of town. That portion of 49 from 49 to Paragould, it's about a 12-mile stretch of road. It's currently 2-lane. That is currently undergoing a 4-lane. Will be 4-lane. They have started north of Paragould just a little bit so far. They have not come our way that far just yet. But they are currently working on acquiring the property and all that. I met with RDOT a few times on that. The location is like I said, right when you come into town from the south. It's actually right in the curve. The directly across the road, like she mentioned, is Anchor, but there is a railroad track there, which that railroad track has impacted traffic flow because it's a hard boundary that you know, as far as widening of the highway and all that's going on, it's going to impact the ability to alter traffic very much at all because of the development and the railroad. So that's just a little bit of the background. I want to run through, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd like to run through. I've covered a couple of things. It is located along Highway 49, slight curve in the roadway there. So it's just it's a small jog. If you're not familiar with 49, it is somewhat of a dangerous stretch of road in northeast Arkansas, and we've been working for many years to get that 4-lane from Marmaduke to Paragould. Anchor Patching is just across the road. The exit, Anchor Patching empties out onto Maple Street, which then crosses the railroad tracks and comes out right in front of the business. So at times of the day, it is a lot of traffic there. The parking lot for the store is already small. There's 2 small entrances and exits, and it honestly, it can be difficult to use. The road construction, I mentioned that, and this is also going to probably reduce the size of their parking lot. Simply because of the fact most of the widening will have to go west toward their store. No fault of theirs. It just is the way it is. You know, because of the way the railroad track and all the way it's set up. Marmaduke does currently have a retail alcohol sales business, and I feel like that meets the needs of our citizens. It is actually located on the east side of town. That's been in business. I don't even know how long. I've been in Marmaduke somewhere around 25 years. My wife is from there. So, you know, been around a long time, and it's been there ever since I can remember. We do have some letters in opposition. School officials, a local pastor that are in opposition to this. The Marmaduke Police Force, we are very limited. And I do have in my notes here, and I've got copies for everybody. that we currently only have 2 officers on the force. That is actually, as of last night, we had a council meeting. We're able to add a 3rd officer that worked the streets. So we're fortunate for that. We do have another officer that serves as our school resource officer. So only 4 full-time policemen there in town. We do cover the weekends with part-time. And then we're fortunate the Greene County Sheriff's Department is very gracious to help at times. But still, it could put a bigger burden on our officers. Another thing, it's on the south side of town. It is a busy area, and no matter the decision here by y'all, I want to make sure that I'm worried about the looks as people come into town and see our town for the first time. That's the first thing you see when you come into Martin. Just the way the town is set up, so I'm worried about that as far as how this will be set up. So, any questions? I'll be glad if I can answer. I've got all this stuff. I got the maps. If I can give those to you, that might generate some questions.
Pass them to Miss Lila.
Okay.
Do you have copies for all board members?
I've got
Looks
several
like it.
copies.
Thank
Yeah.
you. She'll
I
pass
think
them
it told me to bring 6, and I brought 10.
And if there are board members with questions,
Yeah.
please go ahead. If not, take some minutes to review.
Yeah. I got a couple quick questions
Okay.
for you. So, so there is like a liquor beer permit in the city of Marmaduke right
Yes.
now. In the event that did not exist and that was going in front of us today, would you have the same oppositions,
Yes.
for them?
Yes.
If one of the things you talked about was congestion,
Yes.
if once the RDOT road widening is complete, we all know RDOT moved at their own pace, but if that was completed tomorrow, would you feel like at that point that would alleviate the concern from a traffic perspective?
I actually talked to the business owner about that Monday, business manager, I guess. And I told him, that might be something that we could reevaluate once that's done.
Okay.
And I'm afraid that just the construction process is going to really tie things up. That's the only way in and out of Margaret going south.
Yeah.
It's
What's the
going to be
next
really
city
hectic.
to the south? Like if you're leaving south,
Paragould.
And Paragold's a dry city, correct?
Yes, sir.
No.
No, it's not. Okay.
No, there's actually a retail liquor store on the north side of Paragould coming toward Marmaduke. I don't remember the name of it. The one in Marmaduke has been operated, like I said, for a long time. Run by some good folks. They do a good job with it.
This building, it sounds like you've been in Marmaduke a long time.
Yes.
To your memory, has it ever served beer out of this
No.
gas station? It's
No.
always been okay.
No.
Those are the only questions I've got. Any other board members have questions, or Christy, anyone on your side?
I had a few questions. Thank you
Okay.
for being here today. I'll just remind the board that when an elected official objects to a permit, it triggers a hearing. This is dissimilar from other cases you guys have seen me involved in before. That might be in Little Rock, and I've driven those roads and I know exactly where that curve is and what it looks like. This is different in respects that I have not visited
Okay.
your town, maybe passing through at times, but am not as familiar with the location. So the agency is really just deferred to elected officials in this situation. We did also receive an objection, but the chief of police is not here today. I was just curious if you could speak on if you've spoken to him and why he might have objected as well.
Yeah, we talked. Matter of fact, last night at the council meeting, actually, we hired the new police officer starting today, and that's why he couldn't be here. He told me last night, he would like to come, but he's worked hard to get a new officer. Felt like it's his obligation to be there today.
It's an
So
important day. I understand that. And then just a follow-up point of clarification for everyone on the board. I'm glad Drew walked back in. I believe we have a rule, just to remind everyone, if this permit is denied, this location cannot reapply for a year. Is that correct, Drew? Just as a reminder, so there may be a prohibition to a let's see what happens kind of mentality, just for everybody's awareness.
Sure.
If I could, the highway project, we're probably looking at 4 to 6 years out. Three to four probably. So.
And it's your testimony that the chief of police is opposed
Yes.
to this? Okay. We have a conflicting message in the documents that I don't believe you've seen a copy of that came from the management at Marmaduke. I'm guessing it's the gentleman you met with, but quoting a line from this, this is dated December 10th. In contrast, the chief of police for the city of Marmaduke has expressly stated that he has no objection to the issuance of our beer and wine permit. After reviewing the matter, he confirmed that he does not anticipate any public safety risk arising from the sale of beer and wine at our location.
I just read that actually. I read through the application there while we were in recess.
And
I can't speak for him. I do know what he told me last night. That's all I can speak to.
it is the board's responsibility as the fact finders and decision makers to give credibility and weight to each document that we can authenticate.
Right.
That's just kind of how these go without an attorney here to really provide specific commentary for the parties or the chief of police here. I would say just give each piece of evidence the credibility you feel like it deserves.
No, absolutely. I just wanted to bring that up just to see, everyone here that we do have two conflicting narratives for one of the two elected officials. We have to make the decision on who we weigh on that side.
And there is a letter in here signed by him.
And is that in your packet?
Yes. It was dated November 18th.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
are you primarily here because you believe this is a traffic safety concern, or are you primarily here because you have a belief that it should not be in the community?
Both. I feel pretty strong. I would say, honestly, I just believe it doesn't need to be there.
Okay.
I believe the convenience that it will provide, possibly to get alcohol. I know that highway. I can't speak for anybody's actions. I don't want to see. I'm ready to see the highway widened. I don't want to have any more risk involved in that highway than we already have. Now, but also the simple fact that I think it could cause more congestion there.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
One of the things we look at it and regularly in these meetings is there's a line that we hear a lot is, does it serve the public's convenience by having this location there? Which in a lot of times is an argument that if there was a store like this across the street, there's not a need for a second one directly across the street. It's more of how far you have to drive. Someone has to drive, if it's making someone's life easier to do that. But we get a lot of opposition from, elected officials, locals that don't want, people have strong opinions on alcohol on both sides of it. But one of the things we look at a lot is if it serves public convenience. But also, obviously, there's things, if it is a liquor store, it can't be near a school or a church. Beer is off-premise beer like this is a little different, but we know that was, listed in the objections.
That's correct. And we didn't necessarily sign me up as an official witness today, but if you do have any questions, I will share. Most of why I denied the permit in this case is in deference to the locals, as I shared with you guys, since I don't travel these roads every day. But our factors of public convenience and advantage do touch on what type of permit it is. It's off premise. It's not nightclub type thing. But as you also said, Alex, it talks about the surrounding area and the types of permits. There's not enough within this zip code and area to really say that provided much factual, didn't sway me one way or the other. So really the linchpin on why we're here at a hearing today is because standard practice when a elected official objects.
How many fuel stations are in town?
How many what?
How many fuel stations are in Marmaduke?
There's 2. Well, actually, the 3 counting the co-op where you can get fuel. There's 2 convenience stores. Where you can get fuel. There's Quick Stop, and then you can get fuel over to co-op across the tracks.
I guess where I'm going with this, and I'll just be really transparent, based on what's been put in front of me today, and I'm going to give you one more opportunity because just because of your elected position, I'm having a hard time not overruling the director's decision because I don't see the proof of a traffic safety concern here.
Okay.
That's why I asked. So I guess maybe, do you want to provide a little bit more light or clarity around this? Because Marmaduke's a pretty remote town, probably not just getting a ton of traffic. And I would think that to have a fueling station be able to supplement itself to improve its business position so it can stay in business and provide fuel to its customers is advantageous. And so I'm having a hard time here. But carry on if you want to add a little light around the traffic safety concern.
Well, we've had that discussion before. We had that discussion many years ago. Dollar General came. I had that discussion with retail businesses coming to Marmaduke. Their thought is, y'all don't have a lot of traffic. I don't know the traffic counts. I don't have traffic counts. I will say the RDOT saw the need to 4-lane the road, put that investment. That tells me that there's quite a bit of traffic. That is the only route to get to Rector, Piggott, Northeast Arkansas. We have about 500 people that will be going to church there on Sunday. Of course, that won't matter, but that's a traffic issue. We have about 700 kids coming to school every week. We have 2 to 3 ball games during basketball season a week that people come through. Our Dollar General, I don't know the ins and outs as far as traffic there. I can't speak to that. I do know that it's very busy. Dollar General has been very surprised by the amount of traffic that comes through there. Would this change, to kind of go to your question, would this change the use of our town? I don't think so. Would it impact, would keeping this out have a negative impact? I don't think so. Yeah, I'll say might generate some tax revenue, and I'll be happy with that. Is it worth it? I'm personally, I don't think so.
Does your Dollar General sell beer?
Does not. When Dollar General came in, and I try to do some back research here on that. Most Dollar Generals in our area, the one on the west side of Paragould, I know the one at Leith, I know sells alcohol. The Dollar General, when they came in, and I do not know the history. I don't remember the history on it, but they did not. I don't think they even asked for it. I think when they came in, there was an agreement with in development they would not ask for a permit. But I'm not sure that that's accurate.
If they applied tomorrow for a beer permit in your city, would you be here opposing it?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a church right basically next door to Dollar General. I've heard from people at that church that are opposed. I've had no one come to me and say, man, I would like that to go through or anything positive about it. I will admit, I probably don't, somebody would have to come to me, and I will say when the business owner came, I was very open with him and told him my exact thoughts on it. It's a tough spot, honestly, personally. But I honestly believe, traffic wise, the way I want our town viewed, that's where I'm at.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
And you may have already covered this. How many miles from that location is the next location where you can buy alcohol?
Ooh, it would be, you'd have to go north about 2 blocks through the roundabout and about a quarter mile east. So probably less than a mile, I'd say. It's on Highway 34 on the east side of town. Their business is on Highway 49 on the south side of town. And they're about equal distance from the roundabout, which is right in the center of town.
Okay.
I don't know if that's on my map or not. I don't know if my map goes that wide or not.
Are those the only 2 liquor store permits in the area?
Correct.
And then this one would be the only second one. if
Yes,
it's got-
correct.
And this is just retail beer off premises, not retail liquor.
Correct.
Might drive down pricing.
Maybe. Okay.
And let me go.
Oh, the location that does sell beer less than a mile away. Were you the mayor when it came to town?
I was not. I didn't even live there.
Okay.
Like I said, that permit was actually Kevin's Liquor Store, I think was the name. It was actually in downtown Marmaduke for many, many, many years. They actually got that permit moved. I was actually on the city council when they moved the permit. They actually built a new building. They've got a brand new building that was built. Al and Harriet Ryan built that building. Probably, I don't remember the time, 5 to 7 years ago. They built a brand new building. It's a really nice setup.
Were you for or against the transfer of location on that?
I was for that. Yes.
Could you share your reasoning on why you did not oppose the transfer?
That was an established business, had been there. They had proven that they were operating in a reputable manner. And they came to us and
Do you have
so we approved it.
concerns about the operators of this proposed business?
Not after meeting with him, no.
For the record, because we're in a unique position, there's only one store in this area currently. There's no affiliation, personally, family member, politically, that you have connected with that, the one operation that's in place right now.
Honestly, I've been in it one time, and that was to get boxes for my mom to move. She wanted some boxes, and Harriet Ryan gave me those boxes. Al and Harriet no longer own the store. I've not even met the owners of that store. I don't even personally know them. I've sent them some cards or whatnot, but I don't personally, no, don't know them.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions at this time? Miss Susan and Stacy, do y'all have any questions you'd like to ask?
I'm good.
Okay, I guess at this time, if state has nothing else, we can, I guess, Ms. Manis, do you have anything you want to, comment back on anything he said? Okay.
So sorry. I don't have anything further.
Okay. All right. Well, at this time, we are open to hearing a motion on Brenda Manis with Marmaduke Gas and Deli at 11252 Highway 49 North.
I'm going to make a motion, but I want to make a statement first because I don't want you to feel like I make this decision or I'll make this motion without any thought to it. I appreciate what you put before us. And when I weigh it, I think to add some commerce to the other liquor store in town will provide convenience to your residents. And it does sound like you're here representing a group of residents that probably are opposed to this. But I think the fact that you've got a liquor store that has been in business for 20 years, indicates that you've got some constituents who drink in Marmaduke. And so, and I have not seen sufficient evidence that this would create a traffic safety issue. If anything, it feels like maybe the original objection was that it was too close to a church. And then when that didn't pan out, or when we found out like, hey, they're exempt from that, then we maybe pivoted to a more of a traffic safety issue. With all that taken into account, and my colleagues here they can vote against this, and maybe they will, but I will make a motion to overturn the director's decision and issue this permit to the fuel station.
Thank you. Do we have a second on the motion on the floor?
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. If we could have all in favor at this time vote.
Aye.
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 Motion carries. At this time, we'll move forward with Ms. Manis. Congratulations on your permit. So at this time, y'all are good to go. You're welcome to stick around if you have any questions for the ABC. We'll have a quick little administrative update that the director will put on for us, but y'all don't have to stay long for that. Thank you for coming down and taking the time to meet with us today.
Thank y'all for coming. If you want to come tomorrow, come see us.
Yes,
I
sir.
would love to host you.
Thank you.
Thank
If you haven't been there, you need to come see us.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
Okay, thank you, board members. I always find these hearings interesting because each location is different than Little Rock, where I've lived most of my life, and where we have a ton of different permits. So I appreciate, again, the mayor for coming and participating so we could kind of have a healthy discussion about this one. Do you guys have any questions, since we did just have a hearing? I know you've brought up the aerial map. Are there other things that we could do that you guys would appreciate in these types of hearings? I know we've flirted with the idea of a hearing officer. When we do have a really big hearing, we'll probably have one, just mostly to keep me in line. But if there's something else specific you guys want to see, please let us know. We're happy to mark down the aerial map, and we'll make sure we have those next time. All time. Okay. It's on. Okay. The retail liquor lottery. We confused y'all last time. Sorry for that. We went back and double checked. You guys do not need to be here for the actual drawing. So that is part of the reason why it happens on a separate date from a separate board meeting, but also we handle specific timeframes. And so the reason why January 14th and January 16th are the application dates for both Saline County or Benton and Washington are because notice of those run in separate newspapers. And so some of those want their notice on Friday, Saturday, etc. So we've got notice in both of those newspapers. The deadline for people to submit, a little over a month, is January 14th in Saline County and January 16th for Benton and Washington. After that, our office is going to be busy reviewing applications to make sure that they are complete applications for consideration. That will take hopefully less than a couple months, but there's a couple months built in there for us to do that. We're not sure how many applications we're going to receive. I'm excited to see how big or small of a deal this may end up being. And then after spring break, at the end of March, we will hold the lottery. You guys, again, do not need to be here. You might want to be here because it will be fun, in which case you're so welcome to come hang out. And then by April 15th, those people will know, okay, start building your building. You've been granted and awarded this license, so find a place to do it. So we're excited about that. Again, something that I think only Brandy has lived through as far as ABC staff. So no pressure on Brandy to help make sure we do this correct, but we're going to figure it out.
Could we get a copy of kind of like a packet on what's needed to submit for the lottery? Just in the event someone reaches out and calls us and like, hey, we heard there's a lottery happening in our area. What do you have any information on it? If we had just like a copy of like the PDF packet we could flip on, and then, with it, like reach out to Brandy or whoever. But just, I have a feeling that as this starts getting notices, we could all start getting calls and just having something easy we could flip to people and then say any
Yes.
further questions, call the.
But I would certainly caution against answering too many specific questions, as every lottery application is still a standard application that is approved by the board. So if you do get those questions, I would prefer you just direct them to the staff attorney or to Brandy in their county.
Yes, I'm not saying we want to answer questions, more like, hey, we have like you know what the packet is, and like we could just flip that to.
We have a packet she can send to
Okay.
you, yes. But again, if they follow up and they say, now how closely did they look at this, or what part do they care about? Y'all
Yeah.
say, I
Yeah.
can't help you then. Okay. But other than that, yes, Brandy can email you general information. The other reason why I say that, most people in this situation will know that a retail liquor permit is for a retail liquor store, but a lot of times they think they want a certain permit and they say, hey, can I have an application for that? We give it to them. And then the business they want actually is not for that application. So we try to ask a bunch of precursor questions before we give people application packets, just to make sure they have what they actually want. Okay. ABC seminar. We had 43 attendees in December. Drew and I were actually talking about this. We think maybe it slows down to try to get your business opened like before the holiday season. So we actually had a lot fewer files this month, and we were just kind of brainstorming why we thought that might have been. But I will say we are still looking at a legislative proposal idea to clean up where we are only supposed to be issuing permits in January and July. We still want to clean that up and make sure that we're good to go every month. And seminar will be here now at our new boardroom, which is good and hopefully is working pretty well. ABC has been very busy. 18 offers accepted covering over 100 violations and 4 warnings. Offered fines in the amount of about $17,000. And we have 4 directors hearings scheduled between now and February. So if those are appealed, they will come before you. Marijuana, on the other hand, they have not just been totally chilling, but it is what we call biannual season. So our agents have been out doing checks at every single facility for medical marijuana. So I expect we will get some incident reports flowing in as soon as they finish up the paperwork on all of that. So it's kind of been an off season for MMC. And industry meetings, we have attorneys and our enforcement team at CANRA right now in Atlanta. Last year, it was in California. Drew and I went along with Cameron, our tobacco attorney, and our marijuana guys, of course, because hemp was such a big deal. And hemp was in beverages. But now that the hemp ban has been put back into effect and we are enforcing that, it's less of a concern on the alcohol side of things. But since you guys do still get medical marijuana violations in front of you, I wanted to let you know that we do have attorneys there learning about the best way to prosecute these cases if required, or how to focus in on what types of inventory tracking may or may not actually prove that something nefarious is going on. So we're excited to have them there. Now, in the news, this top one's funny. Could CBD and cannabis help protect the livers of heavy drinkers? I don't know, but these are the types of news articles that we see a lot. There is a ton of overlap between the research on alcohol and the research on marijuana or other cannabinoids. CBD is a cannabinoid that is different than THC, so it is not the psychoactive component that actually gets someone high, for lack of a better word. CBD is more commonly used in like muscle creams, bath bombs, stuff like that. So I think it's interesting that they're starting to try to figure out if there's any kind of benefit. And then down on the bottom, you will see your counterparts were in the news earlier this week or end of last week regarding some rules on management contracts. Dispensaries and cultivation sites, when the industry first came to Arkansas, they didn't know what they were doing, right? So they had to go to Colorado or somewhere else and find people who had done this legally and followed the inventory tracking rules and all this kind of stuff before to come consult for them, help them get their business open, and then become their management company. We also have some actors in the space who, through a management company, have control over more than one dispensary. Each individual is supposed to have one dispensary. This is a problem because there were people whose names were on the licenses and it was just a piece of paper, but they didn't know what their dispensary was doing. the management company was handling everything and they had no control, but maybe a tax liability. So the purpose of these rules is to put some guardrails up so that management companies cannot take too much control away from Arkansas residents who are required to be the license holders on these entities.
Are they weighing, and you may not know this, but are they weighing what to do if there's existing relationships like that? Not just moving forward, but how to handle the existing relationships?
So that's kind of the reason for the rule, is to provide transparency to the commission, because we only have authority over the license holders. So if a management company is really the one who has all the day-to-day control, they're making every single purchase of inventory, they're hiring and firing everyone, they're the ones seeing the profits, what are our license holders doing? So the current license holders who are under a management contract will be required, if these rules go through, to provide that management contract to the MMC. The MMC will only take issue with it if there is a term after the review from our office and the AG's office that seems not commercially reasonable. That's the standards that's been set in as commercially reasonable for that industry. So if there was a question about a term being commercially reasonable, the MMC would hear that issue, since it's a licensing issue and not an operational issue. So they would hear those, and I'm sure would take testimony from all kinds of people in the industry, because you have to figure out exactly where that commercially reasonable within the industry, the medical marijuana market here in Arkansas is. But it also protects our operators who are not quite as big as the ones who have a giant management company and you know, run 4 or 5 dispensaries. There are a few of those who via management company have control over many more dispensaries than our single permit holders are supposed to. So it kind of prevents any kind of monopoly. Any other questions about that or anything on the marijuana side? They are your counterparts, and we will have some marijuana hearings one day. I know it's probably been a while. I think our last one might have been the revocation. I don't know if we've really had anything marijuana come over in a while. Oh, that's right. They were trying to get their processor license set up. Yeah. Another interesting thing, today is Wednesday, tomorrow is Thursday. Thursday is the day that the Supreme Court issues their opinions, and there is a case that would be dispositive on the marijuana side of things regarding the 27 amendments made to Amendment 98. Amendment 98 legalized marijuana in the state of Arkansas, and there have been 27 changes to that amendment. There was a lawsuit. It has worked its way all the way up to the Supreme Court, and we are expecting this Thursday, next Thursday, very soon, that we will get an opinion on that. So if the staff seems like they're marijuana focused, we might be. Depending on how that decision goes, we're going to have to figure out a lot of things, processors being one of them. One of the amendments to Amendment 98 allowed for processors, which is the middleman who takes the green leafy flower and turns it into a gummy. That middleman license only exists because of an amendment to Amendment 98. So if that amendment is found to be improper, that's a big question that the marijuana industry is already calling us, like, what are y'all going to do? And we'll see. We'll see what the Supreme Court does, but there may be a lot of changes and legal work to be done on the marijuana side of things here shortly.
And I'm sorry, of course, with those changes, what would our role as the board be with any of that? Or do we have a role in approving any of the process changes?
In approving which changes? I missed just that last part.
Oh, just like in process, like as a result of a Supreme Court decision that might change.
We would let you guys know most of the changes are going to occur on the MMC side of things, licensing wise, unless operational. Most of our operational rules have already been put in the ABC rule book, and therefore may or may not change depending on the way that the Supreme Court ruling comes out. But I think most of it's going to be MMC centered. I mean, I think one of the amendments has to do with DFA's authority over MMC. One has to do with advertising, which is a really big deal. Another one is processors. There are a few that have to do with excess taxes. Did I already say that one? Tax issues. So it's literally 27 different issues, and I'm trying to skim through. I don't think we have many flagged as ABC centered, but if there are, we will certainly let you know. But I know there is always confusion because you guys handle the violation side of things. I'm sure you get calls from people. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and update you guys on it. And if you do have any questions, you're welcome to call me, but we'll be pushing refresh on the computer tomorrow to see exactly what that opinion says if it comes out tomorrow.
We switch gears if let me go back to a procedural question, and maybe this will benefit everybody, maybe it'll just benefit me. When you have let's just take a traffic safety concern, is there a burden of proof on one party over the other? Like, did she have an obligation to prove that it was not a traffic concern, or did he have an obligation to prove that it was?
She had a motive to prove that there was no traffic concern, but the way administrative hearings work, it's preponderance of the evidence. It's 51%. So it's not like a criminal courtroom that it's beyond a reasonable doubt. You have to think that this person is guilty. This is preponderance of the evidence. So if someone you think their argument is 51%, the other person's 49%, 51 can win. So there's not a specific burden. And again, our factors don't always, they're not dispositive. It just kind of says, consider the things nearby, consider this, consider that. So sometimes I wish our factors were a little clearer because I could say, well, check, they don't have this, check, they don't have that. But it's really meant to be subjective.
Got it. Thank you.
A lot of times there is representation, and depending on who that attorney is, it can make it, where they have a really good packet of information to where it's kind of like a slam dunk. Sometimes the attorneys add zero value because they've never done anything with ABC, and like they help someone with like a divorce, and because they're an attorney, they came in and they call us like Your Honor, and they have no data they've pulled together. So it really depends on the case. We get a lot of cases where it will be in a situation like this where like a whole church will come in because they don't want that devil's water in their town. Is like a lot of like comments that we get. And so you have to look at the end of the day, is this group represent the entire community, or is it like they're the loudest voice? And like in the situation today, I mean, there's one, there is a monopoly in that town right now. So, I mean, I would be for it just for the fact that you don't want one supplier of anything in a community. So you have to look at kind of things like that. So, I mean, we just have to use common sense to the best of our ability with the information in front of us. That's why I asked kind of like the questions on, would you be opposed to a Dollar General? Would you be opposed to the others? You start seeing the pattern on, are they opposed to just alcohol in general as, for their own personal beliefs? Or is it more of like a specific instance where like this operator is not good, this location's not good, this building's not safe, things like that, that you can be like, okay, well, those are valid things, as opposed to this group, no matter what you do, they could build the Taj Mahal of a building and it's never going to make them happy. So I mean, that's what I always look at with these kinds of things.
And if I feel strongly about the decision that I made, I will typically have the attorney call me as a witness so I can sit on the stand and tell you exactly, like, here's how I analyzed it. Here's what I was thinking. On a situation kind of like today, for instance, the factors aren't dispositive. They don't really show me one way or the other. So we're here for a hearing because an elected official triggered it in my mind. If I think you guys have kind of got to know me, if I'm sitting in that chair, I care a little bit more that you guys are paying attention to my thoughts on it. But most of the time, if we're staying out, it's because it truly is an issue between the locals.
We get a lot of times with these local ones, they'll be like, oh, well, we are a bingo center and we just want to have a little bit of beer that we can sell at it. And then the local officials will come in and be like, they've not had a permit for the past 10 years and they've been buying alcohol down the street and they've been selling it. Now they want the permit because they got in trouble. Or they'll be like, it's not they're not playing cards there. It's like a nightclub. They might say that like it'll be like a family karaoke, and then the local officials will bring in like pictures of like cars down the street at like 1:30 in the morning, and you're like, okay, these people are not necessarily good actors. I'm like, they're just trying to, you know, make something work, but they're not. They're going to be people that at the end of the day are going to add a lot of problems for our enforcement and our people to deal with, because they're just, you can pick up on certain things in these types of hearings. But then we've had ones that have come in front of us where, like, were you here when we had a meadery come in front of us?
I don't think so.
So a meadery is where you make alcohol out of honey, like back in like Robin Hood, Friar Tuck days. And we had like a church come in and be like, we don't want that, you know, the devil of the honey out wine in our town with the bees, because like it's a sin to be drinking it. And we're like, I don't think anyone is like having a nightclub off of a meadery type establishment, but we had, you know, it was a similar thing to this where like it came in and there was people that just did not want the meadery nearby, but it's people go in and they get like a bottle of wine and you can like sample what, like, I personally have no idea what mead tastes like. And so you have, those are the same type of situations we've deal with over the years.
But we will certainly, as just a point of clarification, provide the aerial map if that would help you guys, because I do when I look at the factors and I pull up in our system, you know, how many different permits are in 72205, and then I kind of get on Google Earth, and because it is my job to weigh the factors and kind of figure out where the subjectivity should lean. But some of them, it's 50-50 in my mind, and so we're really looking at you guys to make the call on 51%. Any other questions, concerns about any kind of alcohol business, anything?
What's on the docket for next month? Does it look like we're gonna have any hearings?
I don't think so. I don't think we have any. So that might be a slower meeting. In the future, you guys will see Katie take a more instrumental role. I'm trying to not be such a big mouth all the time running the show. So I will back off a little bit and kind of let the attorneys do stuff as we're moving forward. There could be a meeting or two that I miss for my honeymoon, hopefully. We'll see. I actually think I'll leave the day after a meeting, so depends on how I get my packing done, if I'll be here or not.
For the record, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, February's coming up quick now. It's been far away for a long time, and now I'm like, oh, now it's 2 months away. We gotta get some booze and some food, that kind of stuff settled. So we're working on it though.
Where will you be getting your liquor permit from,
Yeah.
ma'am?
Well, I did a lot of research, and I tell brides this all the time, and I tell venues this all the time. They've heard it 1,000 times. If you're going to be an event venue, it is quite risky to get an alcohol permit because brides don't want to be limited to the alcohol that you're going to serve. So there is a winery in Little Rock that when they first opened as a very hot wedding venue, they had a permit, and brides were like, I don't want your wine at my wedding. I want tequila. And if you're only serving wine, I can only have wine. So I have a venue that does not have a permit. So that way I don't have to play by their permit rules.
Got it.
Yes. So, but that was like the first, when I walk in the door, I'm like, do you guys have an alcohol permit? And they're like, no. And I'm like, good. That's the way you should do it, because it gets very complicated for event venues.
But on that, that is one question, like, I've always heard, and I don't know if this is totally wrong, but like, there's venues that have a liquor permit, but with these big charity galas, sometimes stuff is like donated.
There are very complicated rules about donation, and I'm not going to mess them up. Drew and I look at the actual text of the rule because most of the time, do you have it memorized? You got it now? I get it wrong every time. Speak up then. Alcohol permit for non-permanent nonprofit event. At that event, whether there is a permit on that. And that is actually something we're working on clarification. It's going to be one of our legislative proposals. Kind of clarification on temporary permits, donated alcohol, because our rule book takes you several different paths. And so that's why I say Drew's got to memorize better than me, because I'll think I'll have it right. And I'm like, this is just like the venue we talked about, 2 weeks ago. And they're like, no, it's not, because this one XYZ, and it gets very specific based on who the parties are, where it is, what type of alcohol. So hopefully we can provide some clarity to that in some sort of legislative proposal. But again, we don't want to bite off more than we can chew. So we really want to prioritize like which things are important to change in ABC in 2027.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So I guess do we need to schedule, is it March at this time?
Yes, we did not schedule March last time because I wanted to provide clarity on the liquor lottery situation. But given that you guys do not have to be here, I think we should stick with our third Wednesday of the month, which would be.
The 18th.
Mm-hmm. Is that right smack dab in the middle of anybody's spring break trip or anything?
Susan, do you know what NWA is? I think that we're the week after that.
Well, let me say something for, at the risk of being unpopular. And I would like to be at this drawing, and I would propose we do it during a meeting. These meetings now are not entirely long. Do
Well,
you guys want to be there, and would you guys like to combine it or no?
Generally, it's better during ALC week, but I don't. So I'm always down to meet on a different week than.
I think it'd be really cool to be there for it. I agree. If it's not too much trouble and it looks
It's on a
like,
Tuesday though.
Well,
oh, it is.
and if our date is specifically March 31st, and that's okay, y'all aren't married to every Wednesday, every third Wednesday. If you guys ever wanted to change the day or the time, let's bring it up and talk about it. But we certainly could in this one instance, if March 31st is the day, we could go ahead and schedule you guys for the same day. Drew did whisper a caveat to me. There could be a hearing, which would mean our hearing has to kind of sit and wait for the lottery, or the lottery has to sit and wait for the hearing. That's y'all's prerogative.
That's, sounds like a bad day to have a hearing.
Well,
I mean, if it works out, I mean, our hearings are not incredibly long.
No.
we could do
I
that
don't.
too. We could always push it. We don't have a statute of limitations, but depending on how severe, whatever,
I still would be in favor of combining the two if the other board members are as well.
I mean, I was liking to come down regardless. I mean, if I had to come down twice, I was thinking about doing that. So, I mean, if we've got, sounds like Susan wants to be here, Andrew, myself, Hannah, if she can't be there, I mean, we'd still have a quorum.
on March 31st.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it looks like the 2026, 2027 school calendars. It looks like it's the week of the 22nd through the 26th might be our spring break, Alex.
Okay.
So this should be after. That would
Oh,
be
wait,
Maybe the
where's
week
that?
after.
Oh wait, is that for 27? Mm. But yeah,
So are we-
either way, it's clear of the 31st. That's right. It's the week prior to the 31st.
Okay,
So you guys want to go ahead and set the 31st?
that's fine.
And that just means my staff needs to be aware, and this is mostly I'm talking to you, that the front desk knows how to prepare our permit holders for that timeline, because our permit holders or people in the industry, they do know when to put their stuff in the newspaper and when to get it done to make the next meeting. So those dates are pretty important to them. But with that being 4 months out from now,
Yeah.
I think it's fine that we change.
So will you actually open up a meeting and then do it during a meeting?
I think so. I can run a meeting in honor of how Chairman Black before me used to do it when he had something he had to be at. Like, okay, we've got this amount of time. Y'all gotta get through. Otherwise, I'm calling the meeting. We're just gonna call a vote at this point. So,
There you go.
so if we do have something like a hearing, I can run it fast to be like, hey, we're not gonna ramble. We're gonna go quick.
And
And make it
depending
a
on
quick thing.
the severity of the hearing, if there happens to be something that we're working on that we need you guys to pay attention to, we will decide whether we need to move that to February or April to try to keep March.
Open.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
Perfect.
But two, on the lottery, like I've mentioned before, we are all doing what Brandy says. Brandy is the person in charge at the lottery. I am too, but she tells me what to do. So at the lottery, let's just all in advance. We don't want to get too involved and mess up a very specific procedure that only Brandy has lived through before.
So how many total drawings will there be?
I feel like she's worried.
No,
we're gonna
like
cause
total,
trouble.
like applicants, like how many like pulls out of the hat will there be?
So it depends on how many applications we get. They will I get the numbers mixed up. One county has 2, one has 9, and the other has 2. So if, say, Saline County gets 2 permits and we only have 2 applicants, there's no drawing.
Could I make the request if there's enough to where everyone's drawing that every member of the ABC staff here and the board members get to pull one name out of a hat?
Well, they pull their own name.
Oh, we don't get to go up and have someone just pull up and.
Mm-mm.
And Brandy was like, it doesn't work that way.
No, it's a double. It's a double blind drawing, so they literally stand in line in no order, fashion, form, anything, pull a number. That number will be their place in line.
Alex
Oh.
wants to know, can we use his hat?
I don't know if the envelopes will fit his hat.
I expected kind of like a lottery ball machine.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. We could
That's
like
what I thought.
everyone gets to pull a
And
ball.
Brandy, yeah, she was like,
I mean,
there is a statute that does have specific procedures, and I got excited about this and started telling her we need to get a ball machine and all those things, and she was like,
no,
let's just do it the way I know how to do it. So unless it's very clear to legal staff that we can change something, we're probably going to try to use the same procedure. But yeah, it's really just manila envelopes in a big bucket. It's less fun than I envisioned.
Yeah, I was gonna make this a whole
and
fun thing.
all 3 of these counties have already been through this. So Benton County especially, I feel like we're going to have some repeat applicants. So them coming into a different kind of lottery would be kind of weird. Because they're like, this is not how we did it last time.
Yeah.
So what changed, so.
So it'll be fun for all of us. I mean, I am excited that you guys are interested in it. Don't feel obligated if something comes up that day. And again, when we are here for lottery day, Brandy's in charge. So I know that might feel a little different. Y'all are normally the ones in charge.
Brandy's always in charge.
You're right. So, okay, any other questions about that or anything?
No, so meeting will be on the 31st. Everyone's good with that. No one else has anything this time. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all for your time today.
And I hope you guys have a good holiday.
Thank you.
We won't see you till after the new year.
Y'all too. See y'all in 2026.